Hey everyone, got some footage from the Sand City Crit out in California this past weekend. Gonna show you some race footage and talk about the race specifically and also some things you can generally do on a more twisty crit like this one. So just gonna take you through a lap here. You can see on the map in the bottom right, it was kind of started like a figure eight, but then they smushed in one of the corners and made this fun shape. Has 10 corners and you see on this block a hill. It's not very long, but it is kind of steep. You have to get out of the saddle every lap and do a few hard pedal strokes. You couldn't just sit in the draft the entire race. They made you earn it a little bit with the hill. But the rest of the course, 10 corners, so favored good bike handling. There weren't a lot of long straights to move up on, so to take places off people, you usually had to do it in the corners, especially since this race was pretty hard and like dynamic racing the whole time. Like this course produced really good racing. I was impressed. I found out it was a new course for this year, so you don't see a ton of new races popping up, and it's great that the new ones they picked are pretty fun courses. So hope this one comes back in the future. It was the Masters State Championship this year. This is just the Pro 1-2 race. Was not a state championship, just regular race. But these are the last two corners here. Probably the trickiest combo on the course. There's a tight little chicane, and your exit speed out of the last one is more important than your entrance speed. But a lot of people didn't figure that out until later in the race. So with courses like this, you can expect some attrition. And I think we started with 55 guys and finished with 30. So you had to be careful of guys pulling out and just opening gaps. But this was maybe 20 minutes into the race. You see I pull over here, my chain popped off through those corners, which is not a good thing. And I was trying desperately to get it back on here, and through the last corner, I just managed to fish it on. You see my power go back up, so chain's back. Start to get on the pedals again, and I looked back, and I got it back on like literally just as the last person was coming through. So perfect timing. But then I see they're opening this gap. Had to get around it. Make it back on just fine here. But this was kind of the start of a series of unfortunate events for me on this lap. So once I get back on, you'll see at the end of the very same lap, there was a crash in the last corner that I was caught on the wrong side of. So just sped it up to get around to the end of the lap because nothing interesting really happened on the lap prior to that point. And you see it coming out of this last chicane. Everybody's starting to pedal again, and I'm guessing it's just a clip pedal, but I don't know. Guy fell by himself in the middle there. He got back into the race. I overreacted to that a little bit and like braked like I was going to go into the pit, and then I looked back and realized I was the last person anyways. And so I just decided to get back on the pedals here and catch back onto the back here. But the field split into two very big groups after that, and I was too far back after dropping my chain to do anything about that. So luckily the guys who were near the front of the second split actually did a great job and sewed the field back up. So we got back together. Oh, that was a good line on the inside, getting a spot on the hill. Almost another spot if I kept pedaling over the top. But throughout the race, there was a lot of points where guys would just kind of like pull out of the line, especially when it was getting hard, and race over. So you had to like be pretty attentive to that. The race was pretty fast the whole time, super dynamic at the front. Brakes were always trying to go, and I think there was just enough people that were unhappy with the situation in the brake to keep bringing them back every time. And then the same thing would happen. There weren't that many spots. Like this is one of the few spots where you see it bunching up a little bit in front of me. The race was pretty strung out the whole time. And so like when I had been near the back for a while there, I was like starting to get kind of worried. It was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get an easy chance to move up. I might have to burn some matches. But race bunched up pretty good right here. You can see I get a couple spots in the first part of the last chicane. And then I was pedaling pretty hard because I knew I was like, this is a chance. I should have maybe continued pedaling hard down this straight just to get back more spots. But in a technical crit like this, you gotta take advantage of all the opportunities presented to you to move up, because in a lap when it's really hard, you might work pretty hard and only pass one or two guys. But if I had put in a bigger burst there, I could have gotten past like 10 or 15 guys all in one swoop, and it would have been a lot easier than picking them off one by one. So towards the end of the race, the attrition started to catch up with everybody, and sometimes you'd come through a corner and look in front of the guy in front of you, you just see this gap open. So you're like, all right, I got to get on it. So had to jump on it. It's better to close gaps quickly. If you let gaps just sit for too long, you're going to waste a lot of energy trying to come across them. But if you bridge quickly, gets it over with, you can recover again. So like this is later the same lap, see another gap going to open, got to jump around it, slot right in. And so that was just kind of the theme when you're closer to the back. And then a few turns later, same thing. This guy in pink just in front of me is going to decide he's had enough right here. And you got to get around that gap quick. This guy in front of me has the right idea. Out of the saddle, getting there quick. If you took this second to last corner in pretty early, like I did there, and then it set you up to go kind of wide on the last one, I felt like you carried more speed out with it, which was the intention of that goal. So I skipped ahead to the last lap here. I was going to show you the whole last lap, but watching it back, the last lap kind of sucked. I was pretty far back. I didn't really stand a chance of anything at this point. The race was like just so fast the whole time, and I kept waiting for opportunities to get easy spots, and they just never came about. And so at this point in the race, I didn't really have a chance to be where I needed to be to make a difference at the end. So the result's a little bit of a bummer, but this course is super fun. I really enjoyed all the corners. Hopefully it comes back next year, because I would love to get to do this race again. And I think this is pretty much the end of road season for me. So might have some more track videos though. We'll see. Thanks.